Now that we have our block set up in our vise and we have our edge finder in the machine, we're now going to touch off the x-axis. So what we want to do is take your edge finder with the spindle off, pull the bottom tip towards you so it becomes off-centered. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to manual. Then we're going to go to manual function setup. We're then going to go to manual spindle speed. We want to make sure it's at 1200 RPMs. Then we are going to turn the spindle on. It tells us to press cycle start, gives you a warning, make sure everything's in there correctly. Now what we need to do is we need to move the x-axis over. We're going to move the y. And now we're going to move the z. Once we get close with the z, I switch over to thousandths. And now what we want to do is we want to get low. We want to get the edge finder just below the top of the stock. Okay. We can see we're, back a little bit in Y, so we're going to bring the Y forward a little bit. Okay, and now we'll switch to X. Now, what we're going to do is once you get close, you start moving slower on the hand wheel, and what we want to do is you want to keep moving over until you see the indicator the edge finder start to true up. Once the edge finder touches the material, it will kick and become off-centered. Once you see the edge finder kick off-center, as you see there, we're going to go back the opposite way and count how many clicks we move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 clicks. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move back in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what we do is we switch to tenths, because now we're within 1 thou of where it was making contact. We'll move in 2 tenths at a time. 1, 2. Oh, and there we go. With 2, you can see the edge finder kicked off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the z-axis. We're going to hand wheel up. Now where we are is the edge of the edge finder is on the edge of our block. So what we want to do is we want to then go to auxiliary menu. Now what you want to make sure is that you have loaded a part program that is a FNC file. So in Program Manager, make sure you load up an FNC file. That way you have access to the work offsets. We already did that before, so we're just going to go to Part Setup, Work Offset. And we're working off of G54. This is the work offset location. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the X field and say Store Machine Position. You can now see up here in Part, you can now see the tool is located at X0. Now, right now, as I said, we're on the edge of the edge finder, not the center line. So what we need to do is we need to shift over 100 thousandths to the right to get the center line of the edge finder. This bottom diameter is exactly 200 thousandths, so we need to shift over 100 thou for the radius dimension to get to the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to X. I'm going to switch to 10 thousandths, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this part move to 100 thou, and I'm also going to count my clicks. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And before we write that work offset, if we come over here and look, you can now see we're more centered up. And we're going to say Store Machine Position. And so now what we see is we are in G54, which is our current work offset, we are at X0, and X0 is when the center line of our edge finder is on the edge of our stock.